Here we are at question 6 of logical reasoning drill set number 7 over at lawhub.lsac.org. As you can see, we've got our highlight tool ready to go, and we're going to read the question stem first to identify what we are being tasked to do. 6 reads, which one of the following principles most helps to justify the ethicist reasoning? So we're going to highlight principles most helps to justify the ethicist reasoning as the task. And we should recognize that when you're seeking a principle to justify some sort of argument, as is the case here, you're really just looking at a fancy kind of strengthen. So we're going to go engage the ethicist statements, clearly highlight the conclusion of the ethicist, and try to broadly predict what might strengthen the argument before going to the answer choices and finding a more abstract principle that would match that prediction. So we're going to read the ethicist statements. Recently, a student working on the research project led by Dr. Langley produced laboratory data that appeared promising but turned out to be fraudulent. Dr. Langley argues that the student should shoulder the blame, but Dr. Langley, who failed to conduct preventive checks, deserves chastisement. He should have had the experiments repeated before he allowed the student to disseminate the data. So hopefully the ethicist conclusion is rather clear. It's just this statement that Dr. Langley deserves chastisement. And we've got the ethicist reasoning that he should have had the experiments repeated before he allowed the student to disseminate the data, and we know that he basically allowed the student to take the blame. So we're not looking for something that is specifically related to this situation, but simply an overall principle, an abstract idea that would support the ethicist claim that Dr. Langley deserves chastisement in this situation. So now we're going to go to our answer choices, seeking reasons to eliminate that we can again highlight using that pink highlighter tool, or potentially something that does in fact give a further reason that Dr. Langley deserves chastisement. So starting with choice A, if a research leader suspects that a researcher's data from experiments are fraudulent, that leader should have the experiments repeated. Well, there's nothing indicating that Dr. Langley suspected the fraudulent data. So choice A would need additional information, and we can eliminate it for that reason. Next, choice B, a student should not be held accountable for implementing research principles with which the student was not familiar. Again, we don't know whether the student was or was not familiar with the research principles, so we can eliminate choice B as once again needing additional information to really have any clear impact on that conclusion about Dr. Langley at all. Then choice C, allowing the dissemination of data that are known to be fraudulent is just as reprehensible as the fraudulent generation of such data. Well, again, we don't know that Dr. Langley was aware that the data was known to be fraudulent at the outset. Similarly, this says that the generation is just as reprehensible as disseminating it, which again, the student did the dissemination. So there's a couple of reasons we can eliminate choice C through a close read, and we can highlight that issue of fraudulence or the idea of who was disseminating the data. Either is going to allow us to eliminate it. Next, choice D, a person who seeks to divert responsibility for a misdeed to a subordinate deserves chastisement for doing so. This is pretty appealing. We see diverting responsibility, which Dr. Langley did, and he deserves chastisement. So we might be holding on to D, and I think that would be a reasonable, realistic application of our process here for number 6. But we have to read all 5 answer choices to confirm that with an equal level of scrutiny, D is indeed the correct answer. Then choice E, final responsibility for the accuracy of the data produced from a research project belongs to a project's leader. Oh, well, the project's leader is Dr. Langley. The research project was led by Dr. Langley, and he's responsible for the accuracy, and we know the data was actually inaccurate. So when we're down to 2, we need to focus on reasons to eliminate rather than to select, and we need to read very carefully in the answer choices to confirm that the incorrect answer is actually bringing in information that is not part of the ethicist statements. So choice D, if we're even more carefully reading it, a person who seeks to divert responsibility for a misdeed. Well, again, did we know whether Dr. Langley made any mistakes other than basically allowing the student to take the blame? Not necessarily. So, this misdeed part is what's going to make D incorrect, even though we like the idea of diverting responsibility and deserving chastisement as matching what was stated by the ethicist. Whereas choice E, final responsibility for the accuracy. And again, we're concerned with this data being accurate, belonging to the project's leader, absolutely would strengthen the ethicist claim that Dr. Langley deserves chastisement from a more abstract principled perspective.